Marketing, consumer markets. Consumer behavior is the study of how individuals, groups, and organizations select, buy, use, and dispose of goods, services, ideas, or experiences to satisfy their needs and wants. A consumer's buying behavior is influenced by cultural, social, and personal factors. Of these, cultural factors exert the broadest and deepest influence. Cultural factors. Culture, subculture, and social class are particularly important influences on consumer buying behavior. Culture is the fundamental determinant of a person's wants and behavior. A child growing up in another country might have a different view of self, relationship to others, and rituals. Marketers must closely attend to cultural values in every country to understand how to best market their existing products and find opportunities for new products. Each culture consists of smaller subcultures that provide more specific identification and socialization for their members. Subcultures include nationalities, religions, racial groups, and geographic regions. When subcultures grow large and affluent enough, companies often design specialized marketing programs to serve them. Virtually all human societies exhibit social stratification, most often in the form of social classes, relatively homogeneous and enduring divisions in a society, hierarchically ordered and with members who share similar values, interests, and behavior. One classic depiction of social classes in the United States defines 7 ascending levels. 1. Lower lowers, 2. Upper lowers, 3. Working class, 4. Middle class, 5. Upper middles, 6. Lower uppers, and 7. Upper uppers. Social class members show distinct product and brand preferences in many areas. Social factors. In addition to cultural factors, social factors such as reference groups, family, and social roles and statuses affect our buying behavior. Reference groups. A person's reference groups are all the groups that have a direct, face-to-face, or indirect influence on their attitudes or behavior. Groups having a direct influence are called membership groups. Some of these are primary groups with whom the person interacts fairly continuously and informally, such as family, friends, neighbors, and co-workers. People also belong to secondary groups, such as religious, professional, and trade union groups, which tend to be more formal and require less continuous interaction. Reference groups influence members in at least 3 ways. 1. They expose an individual to new behaviors and lifestyles. 2. They influence attitudes and self-concept. 3. They create pressures for conformity that may affect product and brand choices. People are also influenced by groups to which they do not belong. Aspirational groups are those a person hopes to join. Dissociative groups are those whose values or behavior an individual rejects. Where reference group influence is strong, marketers must determine how to reach and influence the group's opinion leaders. An opinion leader is the person who offers informal advice or information about a specific product or product category, such as which of several brands is best or how a particular product may be used. Opinion leaders are often highly confident, socially active, and frequent users of the category. Marketers try to reach them by identifying their demographic and psychographic characteristics, identifying the media they read, and directing messages to them. Family. The family is the most important consumer buying organization in society, and family members constitute the most influential primary reference group. There are 2 families in the buyer's life. The family of orientation consists of parents and siblings. From parents, a person acquires an orientation toward religion, politics, and economics and a sense of personal ambition, self-worth, and love. Even if the buyer no longer interacts very much with his or her parents, parental influence on behavior can be significant. Almost 40% of families have auto insurance with the same company as the husband's parents. A more direct influence on everyday buying behavior is the family of procreation, namely, the person's spouse and children. The wife has usually acted as the family's main purchasing agent, especially for food, sundries, and staple clothing items. Now traditional purchasing roles are changing, and marketers would be wise to see both men and women as possible targets. For expensive products and services such as cars, vacations, or housing, the vast majority of husbands and wives engage in joint decision-making. Men and women may respond differently to marketing messages. Roles and status. We each participate in many groups, family, clubs, organizations, and these are often an important source of information and help to define norms for behavior. We can define a person's position in each group in terms of role and status. A role consists of the activities a person is expected to perform, and each role in turn connotes a status. A senior vice president of marketing may have more status than a sales manager. People choose products that reflect and communicate their role and their actual or desired status in society. Marketers must be aware of the status symbol potential of products and brands. Personal factors. Personal characteristics that influence a buyer's decision include age and stage in the life cycle, occupation and economic circumstances, personality and self-concept, and lifestyle and values. Because many of these have a direct impact on consumer behavior, it is important for marketers to follow them closely. Age and stage in the life cycle. Our taste in food, clothes, furniture, and recreation is often related to our age. Consumption is also shaped by the family life cycle, age, and gender of people in the household at any point in time. In addition, psychological life cycle stages may matter. Adults experience certain passages or transformations as they go through life. Their behavior during these intervals, such as when becoming a parent, is not necessarily fixed but changes with the times. Marketers should also consider critical life events or transitions: marriage, childbirth, illness, relocation, divorce, first job, career change, retirement, death of a spouse. Occupation and economic circumstances. Occupation also influences consumption patterns. Marketers try to identify the occupational groups that have above-average interest in their products and services, and even tailor products for certain occupational groups. If economic indicators point to a recession, marketers can take steps to redesign, reposition, and reprice their products, or introduce or increase the emphasis on discount brands so they can continue to offer value to target customers. Personality and self-concept. Personality here means a set of distinguishing human psychological traits that lead to relatively consistent and enduring responses to environmental stimuli, including buying behavior. Often describe personality in terms of such traits as self-confidence, dominance, autonomy, deference, sociability, defensiveness, and adaptability. Brands also have personalities, and consumers are likely to choose brands whose personalities match their own. Brand personality is the specific mix of human traits that we can attribute to a particular brand. Stanford's Jennifer A. Aker researched brand personalities and identified the following traits. 1. Sincerity, down to earth, honest, wholesome, and cheerful. 2. Excitement, daring, spirited, imaginative, and up-to-date. 3. Competence, reliable, intelligent, and successful. 4. Sophistication, upper-class and charming. 5. Ruggedness, outdoorsy and tough. Consumers often choose and use brands with a brand personality consistent with their actual self-concept, how we view ourselves, though the match may instead be based on the consumer's ideal self-concept, how we would like to view ourselves, or even on others' self-concept, how we think others see us. Lifestyle and values. People from the same subculture, social class, and occupation may adopt quite different lifestyles. A lifestyle is a person's pattern of living in the world as expressed in activities, interests, and opinions. It portrays the whole person interacting with his or her environment. Marketers search for relationships between their products and lifestyle groups. A computer manufacturer might find that most computer buyers are achievement-oriented and then aim the brand more clearly at the achiever lifestyle. Lifestyles are shaped partly by whether consumers are money-constrained or time-constrained. Consumer behavior. Marketing and environmental stimuli enter the consumer's consciousness, and a set of psychological processes combine with certain consumer characteristics to result in decision processes and purchase decisions. 4 key psychological processes: motivation, perception, learning, and memory fundamentally influence consumer responses. Motivation. We all have many needs at any given time. Some needs are biogenic. They arise from physiological states of tension such as hunger, thirst, or discomfort. Other needs are psychogenic. They arise from psychological states of tension such as the need for recognition, esteem, or belonging. A need becomes a motive when it is aroused to a sufficient level of intensity to drive us to act. Motivation has both direction: we select one goal over another, and intensity: we pursue the goal with more or less vigor. Perception. A motivated person is ready to act how is influenced by his or her perception of the situation. In marketing, perceptions are more important than reality because they affect consumers' actual behavior. Perception is the process by which we select, organize, and interpret information inputs to create a meaningful picture of the world. Consumers perceive many different kinds of information through their senses. Perception depends not only on physical stimuli but also on the stimulus's relationship to the surrounding environment and on conditions within each of us. People emerge with different perceptions of the same object because of 3 perceptual processes: selective attention, selective distortion, and selective retention. Selective attention. Attention is the allocation of processing capacity to some stimulus. Voluntary attention is something purposeful. Involuntary attention is grabbed by someone or something. Selective attention means that marketers must work hard to attract consumers' notice. Selective distortion. Even noticed stimuli don't always come across in the way the senders intended. Selective distortion is the tendency to interpret information in a way that fits our preconceptions. Consumers will often distort information to be consistent with prior brand and product beliefs and expectations. Selective distortion can work to the advantage of marketers with strong brands when consumers distort neutral or ambiguous brand information to make it more positive. Selective retention. Most of us don't remember much of the information to which we re-exposed, but we do retain information that supports our attitudes and beliefs. Because of selective retention, we are likely to remember good points about a product we like and forget good points about competing products. Selective retention again works to the advantage of strong brands. It also explains why marketers need to use repeating advertisements to make sure their message is not overlooked. Learning. When we act, we learn. Learning induces changes in our behavior arising from experience. Most human behavior is learned, though much learning is incidental. Learning theorists believe learning is produced through the interplay of drives, stimuli, cues, responses, and reinforcement. A drive is a strong internal stimulus impelling action. Cues are minor stimuli that determine when, where, and how a person responds. Emotions. Consumer response is not all cognitive and rational. Much may be emotional and invoke different kinds of feelings. A brand or product may make a consumer feel proud, excited, or confident. An ad may create feelings of amusement, disgust, or wonder. An emotion-filled brand story has been shown to trigger people's desire to pass along things they hear about brands, through either word of mouth or online sharing. Many different kinds of emotions can be linked to brands. Memory. Short-term memory. A temporary and limited repository of information, and long-term memory. A more permanent, essentially unlimited repository. All the information and experiences we encounter as we go through life can end up in our long-term memory. Brand associations consist of all brand-related thoughts, feelings, perceptions, images, experiences, beliefs, attitudes, and so on, that become linked to the brand. The buying decision process, the 5-stage model. The consumer typically passes through 5 stages: problem recognition, information search, evaluation of alternatives, purchase decision, and post-purchase behavior. Marketers must develop activities and programs that reach consumers at all decision stages. Problem recognition. The buying process starts when the buyer recognizes a problem or need triggered by internal or external stimuli. With an internal stimulus, one of the person's normal needs, hunger, thirst, sex, rises to a threshold level and becomes a drive. A need can also be aroused by an external stimulus, which inspires thoughts about the possibility of making a purchase. Marketers need to identify the circumstances that trigger a particular need. Information search. Consumers often search for only limited information. We can identify 2 levels of engagement in the search. The milder search state is called heightened attention. At this level, a person simply becomes more receptive to information about a product. In the next level, the person may enter an active information search, looking for reading material, phoning friends, going online, and visiting stores to learn about the product. Marketers must understand what type of information consumers seek. Information sources. Major information sources to which consumers will turn fall into 4 groups: personal, family, friends, neighbors, acquaintances. Commercial, advertising, websites, emails, salespersons, dealers, packaging, displays. Public, mass media, social media, consumer rating organizations. Experiential, handling, examining, using the product. Evaluation of alternatives. No single process is used by all consumers or by one consumer in all buying situations. There are several processes. Beliefs and attitudes. Through experience and learning, people acquire beliefs and attitudes. These in turn influence buying behavior. A belief is a descriptive thought that a person holds about something. Attitudes a person's enduring favorable or unfavorable evaluations, emotional feelings, and action tendencies toward some object or idea. People have attitudes toward almost everything: religion, politics, clothes, music, or food. Expectancy value model. The consumer arrives at attitudes toward various brands through an attribute evaluation procedure, developing a set of beliefs about where each brand stands on each attribute. The expectancy value model of attitude formation says that consumers evaluate products and services by combining their brand beliefs, the positives and negatives, according to importance. Purchase decision. In the evaluation stage, the consumer forms preferences among the brands in the choice set and may also form an intention to buy the most preferred brand. In executing a purchase intention, the consumer may make as many as 5 sub-decisions: brand, brand A, dealer, dealer 2, quantity, 1 computer, timing, weekend, and payment method, credit card. Post-purchase behavior. After the purchase, the consumer might experience dissonance from noticing certain disquieting features or hearing favorable things about other brands and will be alert to information that supports his or her decision. Marketing communications should supply beliefs and evaluations that reinforce the consumer's choice and help him or her feel good about the brand. The marketer's job therefore doesn't end with the purchase. Marketers must monitor post-purchase satisfaction, post-purchase actions, and post-purchase product uses and disposal. Steps between evaluation of alternatives and a purchase decision. preferences and even purchase intentions are not completely reliable predictors of purchase behavior. A consumer's decision to modify, postpone, or avoid a purchase decision is heavily influenced by one or more types of perceived risk. 1. Functional risk: the product does not perform to expectations. 2. Physical risk: the product poses a threat to the physical well-being or health of the user or others. 3. Financial risk: the product is not worth the price paid. 4. Social risk: the product results in embarrassment in front of others. 5. Psychological risk: the product affects the mental well-being of the user. 6. Time risk: the failure of the product results in an opportunity cost of finding another satisfactory product. Post-purchase satisfaction. Satisfaction is a function of the closeness between expectations and the product's perceived performance. If performance falls short of expectations, the consumer is disappointed. If it meets expectations, the consumer is satisfied. If it exceeds expectations, the consumer is delighted. These feelings make a difference in whether the customer buys the product again and talks favorably or unfavorably about it to others. The larger the gap between expectations and performance, the greater the dissatisfaction. Here the consumer's coping style comes into play. Some consumers magnify the gap when the product isn't perfect and are highly dissatisfied. Others minimize it and are less dissatisfied. Post-purchase actions. A satisfied consumer is more likely to purchase the product again and will also tend to say good things about the brand to others. Dissatisfied consumers may abandon or return the product. They may seek information that confirms its high value. They may take public action by complaining to the company, going to a lawyer, or complaining directly to other groups, such as business, private, or government agencies, or to many others online. Private actions include deciding to stop buying the product, exit option, or warning friends, voice option. Post-purchase uses and disposal. Marketers should also monitor how buyers use and dispose of the product. A key driver of sales frequency is product consumption rate. The more quickly buyers consume a product, the sooner they may be back in the market to repurchase it.